If he's not texting you, here's what he's actually thinking. You've been staring at your phone, hoping for that one message. The silence feels endless, and your thoughts spiral. Did I say something wrong? Is he starting to lose interest? Should I text him first? The truth is, when a guy doesn't reply right away, it's not always because he's just busy. There's often a deeper reason for his lack of communication. In this video, we're going to explore what's really going on in his mind when he stops texting. Whether he's withdrawing, trying to play it cool, or genuinely distracted, you deserve to understand the truth. Let's break down the psychology of his silence so you can stop overthinking and start understanding. The hard truth about why he stopped texting, decoding relationships, changes connections. Welcome to philosophy of Stoicism. Why do men suddenly stop texting? Why do they pull away when everything seemed perfect? You're staring at your phone, overanalyzing every message you've sent, wondering, did I say too much? Did I mess up? But here's the tough truth. When a guy stops texting, it's not always what you think. Before you blame yourself, you need to hear this. His silence is saying something, and today I'll reveal what's really happening inside his mind so you can stop overanalyzing. Stay with me until the end, and once you get this, you'll never chase a man's attention again. Men and women don't think alike, and assuming they do is a misunderstanding of human nature. Women often interpret silence as rejection, thinking it's an emotional withdrawal meant to hurt or signal disinterest. But when a man goes quiet, it's not always because he's disengaged, it's because he's processing. Men tend to retreat into themselves when faced with stress, uncertainty, or emotional difficulty. They don't always look for immediate communication or validation. Women, on the other hand, often talk through their feelings to resolve them. Men withdraw. They sit with their emotions, sometimes not fully understanding them, and work through their own issues before reaching out again. This withdrawal can mean many things. He could be overwhelmed, dealing with too much in his life, and focusing on survival over connection. He could be unsure of his feelings, needing time to figure out what he truly wants. He might be taking you for granted, assuming you're always there, so there's no need to keep up the effort. Or it could mean he's losing interest, pulling away because he doesn't want to face confrontation, what his silence really means. Or maybe he's losing interest, disengaging, because he doesn't want to face difficult conversations. The key mistake many women make is thinking they need to fix it, intervene, or chase down answers when none are given. This is a mistake both strategically and morally, because the moment you try to control someone's behavior or force engagement, you've already lost. You've abandoned your dignity by pushing too hard. A better approach is recognizing that a man's withdrawal is his issue to resolve. If he's overwhelmed, he'll have to find his way back. If he's unsure, he'll have to make a decision. If he's taking you for granted, he needs to feel the absence of your presence to understand what he could lose. And if he's losing interest, then chasing him will only validate his lack of interest. True interest is never silent. A man who truly values you will make sure you know it. He won't risk losing you. There's something deeper at play here, something rooted in the psychology of attraction. Desire isn't fueled by constant availability. It thrives on distance, uncertainty, and the tension between what we want and what we have. That's why the chase is so powerful. We long for what's just out of reach. So when he pulls away, the best thing you can do is to let him. Let him feel your absence. Let him experience the silence. And in doing so, he'll either realize your value or reveal his indifference. But the most important thing is this. You don't lose value just because someone doesn't recognize it. Your worth isn't defined by his silence. It's defined by your response to it. Once you grasp this, you'll step into a power that commands respect, not just from men, but from everyone. The biggest mistake most women make. Too many people, especially women in this context, think that if they try harder, prove their worth, or chase someone who's pulling away, they'll secure the connection they desperately want. But this is a mistake. It's a tragic misunderstanding. Human beings don't value what comes too easily. We don't long for what's guaranteed. We're drawn to what's elusive, to what requires effort and pursuit before it can be earned. This is why the more you chase a man, the further he runs. Not necessarily because he's playing games or enjoys the power struggle, though some do, but because at an instinctual level, people are drawn to what they feel they must earn. This is the core of human psychology. We value what we work for. We appreciate what requires effort. When something is simply handed to us with no challenge, no pursuit, no investment required, we lose interest. That's why the women who seem to attract the most attention aren't the ones begging for it. They're not the ones sending endless messages, seeking constant reassurance, or positioning themselves as always available. These behaviors have the opposite effect. They signal that they don't believe they're worth the pursuit. And if you don't believe you're worth pursuing, why should anyone else? What people often fail to understand is that attraction isn't about proximity, it's about polarity. It's the push and pull, the tension between desire and fulfillment. If you remove that tension, if you make yourself too available, you eliminate the conditions that create attraction in the first place. So when a man pulls away, when he stops texting, when he creates space, your first impulse might be to close that gap, to seek him out and demand an answer. But that's the wrong approach. In doing so, you're reinforcing the dynamic that made him pull away in the first place. You're giving him certainty where there should be mystery. You're making him feel secure in your presence when he should be wondering about your absence. The only response that preserves your dignity, your self-respect, and your strength is to do nothing. Hold your ground. Recognize that your value doesn't diminish just because someone fails to see it. When you do this, when you allow space to exist, something interesting happens. If he truly values you, if he was simply distracted, unsure, or testing you, that space will force him to confront his feelings. He'll realize you're not a guarantee. You're not waiting for him. You're someone who must be earned. That realization often compels him to return, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. But if he doesn't return, if your absence doesn't spark any action, then you have your answer. And that answer is worth far more than any amount of begging, convincing, or chasing could ever give you, because it shows you exactly where you stand, and it allows you to walk away, not in defeat, but in strength, with your dignity intact. Understanding the psychology of attraction and pursuit. If a man sees you as someone valuable, someone he doesn't want to lose, his actions will make that clear. He will reach out, make plans, and stay in touch regularly, not because he's obligated to, or because he's being pressured, but because he genuinely wants to. The thought of losing you, of you slipping away, is something he's unwilling to risk. People often make excuses for why he's not doing these things. Maybe he's busy, or bad at texting, or waiting for you to take the lead. While some of these excuses might have a grain of truth, they're often just ways to avoid confronting the uncomfortable reality. If he truly wanted to communicate with you, he would. In a world where people are constantly on their phones, checking notifications immediately, the idea that someone is too busy to send a text is simply absurd. People find time for what matters to them. If he can scroll through Instagram, reply to friends, and engage in other distractions but can't manage a simple message to you, it's not an accident, it's a choice. And it's crucial to recognize what that choice means. If you ignore it, if you make excuses, you're allowing yourself to be in a situation where you're not valued. You're accepting scraps of attention when you should demand the respect that comes with genuine interest. The painful truth is, some people enjoy the power of keeping you uncertain. They like knowing they can come and go as they please, keeping you emotionally invested without any effort. The more you tolerate this, the more you show them that they can treat you this way without consequences. So, what do? You stop accepting half-hearted efforts. You stop making excuses. You stop lowering your standards to accommodate someone who won't meet you where you deserve to be. The reality is that relationships shouldn't be a guessing game. Love shouldn't be a constant emotional roller coaster where you spend more time wondering than connecting. When you start believing this, when you live it, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for a text. You stop accepting inconsistency and behavior that makes you feel like an afterthought. And when you do that, when you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you make space for something real. A man who truly wants to be with you won't make you guess. He won't make you decode his intentions. He will show you, because that's what people do when something matters to them. They show up. The most powerful thing you can do in any relationship is to recognize your own worth and act accordingly. When you start chasing someone who's pulling away, begging for attention, or sacrificing your dignity for their approval, you've already lost. You've put yourself in a position of weakness, signaling that their validation matters more than your self-respect. This is where many go wrong. They think that if they try harder, explain themselves better, or prove their worth, the other person will see their value. But that's not how attraction works. That's not how respect is earned. When you make someone else the center of your world, when you let their approval dictate your sense of self-worth, you give them control over your value. The power shifts, and it's no longer in your hands. People respect those who respect themselves. It's that simple. And one of the clearest ways to show self-respect is by walking away from anything or anyone who doesn't meet your standards. This isn't about arrogance or manipulation. It's about a fundamental truth. You can't force someone to see your value, nor should you have to. The right person won't need convincing. They will recognize your worth. If they don't, then no amount of effort on your part will change that. This is where true strength comes in. Walking away isn't easy. It takes discipline, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of what you deserve. It requires you to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty and the fear of losing something you wanted. But in doing so, you're protecting yourself from a situation that would have cost you more than it was worth. The person who values you won't let you walk away without a fight. They won't allow distance to grow without making an effort to bridge the gap. If they do watch you leave and make no attempt to stop you, that is your answer. That's all the clarity you need. And while it's painful, it's also freeing, because once you embrace this mindset, once you internalize it, you become untouchable. You no longer beg for attention, tolerate inconsistency, or feel the need to convince someone to choose you. The right person won't need convincing. They will see you, appreciate you, and choose you without hesitation. And when you live with this kind of certainty, you stop attracting people who take you for granted. You stop wasting time on those who can't meet you at your level. Instead, you create space for something real, lasting, and built on mutual respect. And that is worth far more than anything you could ever chase. So the next time a man goes silent, don't overthink, don't chase, and don't beg for clarity. Instead, sit back and remind yourself, if he's meant for me, he'll show up. If not, I'll keep moving forward. The right man won't leave you confused. He won't make you question your worth, and he won't let silence replace communication. Are you ready to step into your power and attract the love you truly deserve? If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Philosophy of Stoicism, more real, relatable advice on navigating love and relationships. Relationships take time, care, and effort, but when fear and caution meet understanding and patience, they transform into trust and connection. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.